am here, sir. How are you?
Good. Good. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. How's it going?
It's going, just having my morning coffee and all that stuff, and just chatting with you. And happy Monday to you as well.
Awesome. I like your background there. It is very seasonally appropriate. Did you make those as well? I'm assuming.
I did. Yeah,
Awesome.
I sculpted them in VR. It's a little thing that we'll be doing today, I guess.
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait to see that and yeah, share that with some of the community as well. If you are tuning in here, let us know. Drop us a comment here. It looks like we have Pablo from the Haps team in the house. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. But so yes, we can just kind of flow here dynamically. Once folks start to join us, we can have some questions from the audience as usual and all
Sure.
that. But maybe we can start with just kind of the background for replay viewers in particular who may not be familiar with you. What would you say to those folks if they subscribe to you? Oh, hey, Gemma. Thanks, John.
Well, I started off in 2D, so I do 2D character design and just cartoon stuff. I started at a very early age and grew up just drawing, and then
Uh
got into a little bit of skateboarding and then some
huh.
music here and there. But I always was drawing on like a napkin. I'd go out to dinner or something like that. I'd ask for the kids' crayons, even though I'm a grown adult, and I like
Yeah.
fiddling around with the with crayons and what have you, But fast forward a little bit, as technology grew and evolved, I started getting into a lot of digital stuff. So like mid 90s, I got my first tablet and I experienced what it was like to draw something on a tablet and see it show up as a line on the
Right.
screen. And now I'm drawing on a screen. It's not just like a tablet anymore. It's like something you can physically draw on a screen, which is nice. And then
Totally.
VR exploded about 4 years ago. So I've been immersed in VR, making characters and things like that. So yeah, I try to evolve and ebb and flow with the current trends and whatever technology comes out. I like to immerse myself in it and understand it, and not be behind the curve, but more of like a thought leader, if you will, especially with the new VR stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very clear that you are. I would encourage everyone tuning in here to subscribe to CS if you haven't yet. Thanks for those who are joining. Yes, finally CS being highlighted. I know. Yeah,
What's
it
up,
is
Alan?
about time. I know we've had you on for some tutorials for your amazing tips on OBS integration and stuff like that. But I know you mentioned you wanted to do some live pumpkining in VR. Why don't we
Yeah,
get that set up while we talk? It might
sure.
take a minute to transition, so bear with us out there as CS changes his setup here to
Yeah.
that headset and all that. But yes, we will be taking questions from the audience here. Thanks so much for tuning in here. Yeah, I appreciate that Super Heart Award. That's very nice of you. Lady Sunshine,
You.
Nazim, good to see you.
Okay.
Changing headphones for headsets. Hey, good to see you, Vanita. Thanks for joining. Doing well here. Happy Monday to everyone. We are going to be following along as CS makes some virtual pumpkins here using his headset.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you
Awesome.
guys hear okay out there? Let us know in the comments. And let's put you
Let's
full
see.
screen. You can see your full easel there. And all CS's socials are up there on the top of the screen too, so be sure to follow, subscribe, etc. on Haps and across those other platforms.
Oh, you know what I need to do? So I just need to shrink myself here. Oops. I'm a bit
Saw
too
some
big,
floating
yeah.
pumpkins overhead for a second. Yes, technology. Indeed, we are transitioning. There we go. You are shrinking.
All right. Get this out of the way.
Yeah,
There we
step
go.
over that chair.
Okay. All good.
Oh, there we go. We got pumpkins coming in hot, man. There we go.
Pumpkins coming in hot. All right, so let me just come up here so I can see your lovely comments and everything. Move this
Awesome.
out of the way so I can actually hear myself a bit. And then let's see. All right, we got pumpkins.
Yes, we do. Love that.
Yeah,
Wow.
thanks. Yeah, I
So
created a little pumpkin patch.
I love it. Tell us a
Yeah, what
little
was your
bit
question?
about Yeah, tell us a little bit about, the software you're using, and, how you put together these incredible streams with your headsets and digital, VR easel here and everything. This is so
Sure.
cool.
Yeah, well, this is a sculpting app called Medium. It's basically working with like digital clay. So, what I can do is just go and pick, say, like a standard primitive, like a square or a circle, or anything that's in this kind of like index here of shapes, and I can just squirt a shape right out into space and
Uh-huh.
use these manipulation tools to, say, move this circle,
Wow.
around and stuff, and, with enough kind of manipulation, if you will, that ends up becoming, because I used a circle for all of these. So this
Right.
little piece right here is exactly what I did. I went in here and I kind of like moved it around and
Wow.
duplicated a bunch of times. So all of these pieces right here are different pieces that make up the whole of the thing, if you will.
Wow. That is so
Um,
cool. So are you basically copying those? Oh, I see you're moving them. I
Yeah,
got
I'm
it.
moving them.
Okay.
So this right here, these are ones I've already done, and this is one
Uh-huh.
that's kind of like merged all together, right? But all in
Nice.
all, it just takes a little bit of like a circle tool to
Right.
just merge all of these together, and then you have something like this that you could use eventually, and it's all hollowed out and everything. So I went in there and kind of just, so here's me inside of a pumpkin here.
Wow.
So
We're
so
going
these
on
ones
an
are already
adventure.
hollowed out. You don't have to like cut the top off and take all the goopy stuff out. It's virtual reality. The pumpkins I make are hassle free as far as carving them is concerned.
Right.
So, but
That's so
yeah,
cool.
but I
So
figured we would all like carve a pumpkin together in virtual reality and have a little fun with it and answer some questions. Anybody have any comments or anything like that? Just have a good time.
yeah, no doubt. Love this
Mhm.
virtual pumpkin carving. It is
Thanks.
festive and on point. Love that. And let
Yeah,
us know, are you carving pumpkins out there in the real world? Where's my pumpkin spice latte? Asked Nazim. Yes,
right.
that is a money question as well. You can't have yeah Halloween without the pumpkin spice latte for many Americans at least.
Very
I'm
true.
not partial to those personally, but I'm sure CS could probably whip one of those up pretty quick if you wanted
Yeah.
to.
Well, I could probably carve a virtual pumpkin quicker than I could making a spice latte. I don't know how to make one of those. I know there's pumpkin in it, but other than that, I have no idea.
Are you going to carve a Peter face on your puffin? Ooh, creepy. Oh,
Mm.
that would be terrifying. Oh, I
That would
love
be
that
pretty
idea
awesome,
though.
actually. So I picked one out of the patch here, nice, decent sized one here. We'll
Hmm.
pick a side of the face here. This one kind of looks like it's bowed out. This would be fun. So actually, just looking at this, it looks like this guy would have like an underbite, not looking at anything
Yeah.
detailed at all, but just like the shape of it. So I'm
Hmm.
going to go into the tool here that I would use to actually make that circle that we discussed, but you can actually double click it and it turns red and you can cut into it. So I figured
Whoa. Very
I could do
cool.
something kind of cool with this and kind of like just push it through a little bit because
Uh-huh. Oh wow.
we got that already carved
Look at
out. And as
that.
you can see, we can see through it there.
But that's something you can't do in the real world, which is pretty
No,
sweet. You can
yeah, I've sealed
see the piece
myself
from
into
the
a pumpkin.
inside.
I can't get out.
Yeah.
Somebody help!
Don't get claustrophobic out there. Yeah, this
Right?
is amazing.
That's
Wow.
funny. So yeah, just
Super
like I
cool.
don't have a carving tool or anything like that, but I do have these other tools that make it quite fun to carve this pumpkin out. It's kind of an unorthodox way of going at it because, for example, when I make the face, I'm actually or the mouth, I'm going to copy this a couple of times just so I could split the bottom and the top piece
Right.
separately and then create this really cool dynamic jaw. So I'm going to hide everything except for just that. And then I'm just
Hmm.
going to carve a bottom jaw with like say like the square here. get some like square teeth. And I'm just going to cut the bottom part where the jaw is, because I don't
Uh-huh.
want the top part, because I already have that on a different layer, right? So now we have this bottom part here that we can, make some or carve some teeth out of here.
Got it. So
Yeah,
you're just removing those other layers so we don't have to be distracted by those, huh? Is that it?
that's right. Yeah. And also, like, I'm not cutting into the top part either. So I'm like treating each
Wow.
part separately. So I'm just going to go in here and just kind of
I love
suggest
the
a cut
sound
here.
effects, by the way, too.
Oh, can you hear that okay?
Yeah,
Is it,
no,
it's not
those
too
are good.
loud, is it?
No, they're not.
Okay,
At
cool.
least on my end. Let us know if they're too loud out there, but I like that. It makes it feel more real. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, just going in here and just cutting, like a bottom jaw or something right here. Just trying to figure out like a nice teeth arrangement here. That looks pretty
Uh-huh.
good. And if I unhide it, I still have this top piece with which to
Got
work.
it.
So what I can do
Okay.
is just kind of go in here and let me see. I'm actually going to duplicate this one more time and
Sounds
hide
like
it.
shaving cream, huh? That's funny. Good to see you all
It
here.
does. It does.
Chris
So
W
just
in
really
the house.
quickly, I'm just going to go in here and just kind of push this out a bit. Just
Uh-huh.
to kind of make this
How funky.
underbite
Yeah.
kind of more prominent.
Exaggerate that. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So I
And
start to
then
see the resemblance now, to my likeness here in my talents. Oh, man. This
that's
is
funny.
so cool. When did you first start playing around with this particular software? And when did you first start getting into VR in general? When did this really become possible?
I had or have a friend,
Mhm.
uh, and he works at a place called or worked at a place called the Control Collective, which is in Culver City here in Los Angeles. And he invited me because we had this talk that we were doing at the Millennium Biltmore about the future of creativity, and I'm like, well, I really want to talk about VR, but I don't have a VR headset. And he's like, well, why don't you come out to my studio and I'll plug you in? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
So he literally just like brought me into this amazing sound stage and had like this HTC Vive unit and a bunch of other
Mhm.
really cool pieces. And I melted. I literally like broke down and had a moment. Like there's like when you first enter VR and you start messing around with it, and especially being a creator like myself, seeing the potential of where it could go and where it is now, I had one of those moments where like, this is so beautiful. I just started literally
Absolutely.
weeping because it was like, wow, this is a game changer. This is so cool, and
Yeah,
I've been
absolutely.
immersed in it ever since. I've never been like, oh, I really don't want to do VR today. It's always been like, whoa, I get to like jump into my own world and do my own
Right.
thing, and invite people too, because now there's wonderful apps like VR Chat and AltSpace VR that allow you to, much like um, Ready Player One, build your own avatar
Right.
and hang out in virtual space with your friends. And they have their own avatars. And the cool thing about virtual chat and Altspace is that you can create your own universe. You can say, turn this into a giant like house or something that's like 200 feet tall and go, come on, guys, let's all hang out. And all of your friends can hang out underneath the pumpkin, drinking spiced lattes or whatever,
There we
and
go.
just
That's
and
key.
having a great time. So I'm really trying
Gotta
to
have
get
that.
yeah, just trying to get some friends to invest in a headset, because man, we could all just hang out in the virtual world together like Ready Player One and have some fun
Right.
with it.
So are you using the HTC Vive right now? We're getting some questions from Nazim about this specific software setup as well. Maybe we
Oh
can just
yeah,
recap that for folks just joining.
sure. Yeah, I'm using something called an Oculus Rift S. They don't make these ones anymore. They're tethered to the computer. Now the thing that's happening are tetherless wireless headsets,
Uh-huh.
which is really cool because now you can just walk around your whole house and not have to worry about tripping your computer on the ground or what have you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'd imagine
but
that could
yeah,
be an issue if you're making really large sort of interactive pieces here. So you can walk around this in your own space, but you are manipulating it, turning it here with just those two controllers instead. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the move controller, and you have your options here. So if you want to add clay, if you want to add something to it, you would use
Uh-huh.
clay. If you want to move the clay, then you use the move tool. Now you can move this all along. And
Right.
there's like a twist brush or a cut brush, flatten, swirl. If you grab this and you kind of swirl it, it like does this weird like twisty thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really use that much, but this is basically your
Very cool.
utilities is the left hand, and then the
Right.
application is the right hand.
Got it. Can you
Yeah,
switch those if you're left-handed?
you sure can.
So cool.
Yeah, it starts you off right off the bat. It's like, oh, thank you for being in medium. What hand do you use? And you're like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm a righty or a lefty, and then it recalibrates everything, so your tools are in the opposite hand, which is
that
nice.
is so cool.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a Oculus Rift, and it'll run you these days about $300, and they're super
Got
awesome. I
it.
mean the resolution of the new ones, not only are they cheaper, but they're higher resolution. So the cool thing about this technological day and age is that they're actually starting to get better and cheaper. Because it used to be like
Got it.
the next best thing, like the iPhone or whatever. It's like, all right, it's cool, but it's going to cost me $1,500, and we all know that.
Right.
Whereas this technology, it's like, well, not only is it getting lighter, so you're not getting hunched over or complaining about back pain or anything, but
Right.
it's actually getting cheaper too, which is amazing.
And how much does this setup run? Just the hardware these days?
Hardware will run you. Well, the Oculus stuff will be about $300, and there's all these accessories that you can get for it and things like that, like a softer interface in case the one that comes stock is kind of uncomfortable. So you can actually create all these or buy all of these amazing accessories for it. But all in all, like just the bare bones, this setup with the controllers is $400, and
Got
then
it.
you also have a computer to purchase as well, which will run you anywhere from 1,000 to and up from there for a VR ready computer, because a lot of computers are not ready for VR. It has to have a certain kind of uh, GPU and
Working
stuff like
memory.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Interesting. Well, this is really cool to know.
Yeah.
So, a question here from Desiree. Can you create
Hmm.
tangible, holdable artwork with this, like statues and figurines? Great question.
Yeah,
In fact,
that's a
I
great
think I've
question.
seen it from
Yep.
CS.
I think you have. In fact, I think if I come over here and use the force and grab something with the headset on, there we go. I don't know if you guys can see that or not.
You were able to get to that without any
No, there's
vision.
okay. I'll have to be honest. There's something called pass through. So if I press this button, I can see my room and my shelving and everything.
Oh, okay. There you go. I was so
uh,
impressed you got that with the first try there.
yeah, people are like, "How are you grabbing your coffee so effortlessly?" Well, Anyways, I don't know if you guys can see that, but let me see if I can
So you're a little bit
sub
off
really
screen.
quickly.
If you move to, I think you're left. Perfect. Yes, yes, we can see that. Perfect.
Yeah. So to
Love
answer your
that
question,
line.
yeah, I actually made this in VR and then printed it out, and yeah, it's available on my website.
So cool. And those are
Thanks.
three, yeah. So those are printed in 3D using special tech you have at your studio as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have a resin printer
Uh-huh.
that'll allow me to basically take this character when I'm done with it and basically print it out, which is pretty awesome.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
so you can find those on your website for sale. Is that true? Is that
Yeah.
you still have some in stock? Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to say hello to everybody. I see a bunch of
Yes.
people in here already. What's up, Des? What's up, Chris? What's up, Helen? What's up, Joe Burke in the house? Right on. We got Ann Rush. Hope Katie is doing all right. And we got Haps in here. Right on. Very cool.
The Rhino saw them last time. They are cool, says it. Yeah, totally. Helen says you even shaved the nubbies live on Haps. Wow.
I
Don't know
do.
what that means, but that sounds interesting.
That's the late night Haps hour there. I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh. We got to keep this PG. No, I'm just kidding. We got plenty. So So I got it. You're putting some eyeballs in here, huh? So this
Yeah.
is where it
I
starts
really
to get
like,
interesting.
yeah, there's some cool artists out there that will actually carve and sculpt a face on the inside skin. You know how you can take a pumpkin and actually just shave off this and you get like a yellower kind of inside, if you will?
Right.
There's a lot of artists out there that will actually uh, carve a pumpkin, much like you sculpt a. I don't know why this is not moving. Sorry, I'm doing two things at the same
Sounds
time here.
like
Sorry.
spray paint.
Yeah, we're trying to get the color going here. Let's see. Get these balls. Just trying to figure this out here. What do we got? Orange. I'm gonna stomp. Oh, it appears that these are like super shiny. I don't know what's going on here. My bad. Color diffuse. There we go. There we
Gabrielle,
go.
thanks for joining us. Good to see you here. This is
Hey, Gabriel.
awesome, says Gabrielle. Yeah, it
Sweet.
totally
Thank
is.
you.
This is incredible. Got it. So they got, yeah, more of an orange ochre to them now. Oh, cool. Yeah, this is starting to give some personality already.
Yeah,
And so,
that's what it's all
you're
about.
really a character designer. Is that how you describe yourself in terms of, your primary focus artistically, CS?
Yeah,
Character creator?
I really like. I mean, I've been drawing characters forever. I've been watching. I used to wake up in the morning, Saturday morning, cartoons in my pajamas, TV tray, cereal, and just getting super inspired,
Right,
and not knowing at the time that I wanted to do this. There's
right.
you know I didn't even know, like, even pre-tablet, like mid 90s, that this was something that you could do and actually make a living off of. So I really took a vested interest in trying to figure out, like, how can I make money making art? Because I mean, if I did that, I'd feel really good about my life.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely. And
and it took about a decade coming out here to figure it out, but I'm feeling pretty good with my progress so far, so
yeah, no,
no
absolutely.
complaints.
It's been great to follow along just since you've been on HAP. So, oh, we have an amazing question here from Joseph Burke, who we had on recently for the Creator Corner as well. So, what is your
Yeah.
favorite character to sculpt in 3D? Do you have one? You probably sculpt characters every day differently, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a favorite one per se, because it ends up becoming the current character that I'm working on until I do the next one, and then that one's my favorite character.
Yeah,
It changes from
makes
time to
sense.
time. So, man, growing up though, I used to love, Spider-Man and some of the IPs that are out there already. Um, I love cute and
Right.
cuddly and Petter Beware. That's what I put on my website because I like drawing characters that kind of have like this, oh, aren't you cute? But like, you don't know if you want to approach it. It's fuzzy. It looks, fun to snuggle with, but then you're like, is this thing going to eat me in the middle of the night? So I like
Right.
drawing and having those kind of juxtaposed visuals in my artwork as well.
Is there a style you gravitate to? Is a second part of that question from Joe Burke.
Oh, yeah, a style. Um, One of the things that I try to do, especially when I'm looking or for a style, and I'm still doing this, is to not even look at anybody else's stuff.
Mm,
To kind of
yeah.
just to isolate yourself in your own creative, universe,
Mhm.
and just see what comes to the imagination without any influence, if you will. And it's kind of hard to describe. I love other people's work. I'm influenced by it as well, but I try not to bite off. I'm trying to like kind of just observe, but not let it uh, absorb into my creativity. I have a few friends, case in point, that work at Warner Brothers Animation, and they're character designers. And I spoke with one of them about a year into working there. I'm like, so how you liking it? It must be amazing. He's like, yeah. I felt like this kind of like apprehension in his voice. I'm like, what's up?
Uh-oh.
What's going on? And he's like, well, in order for you to work at Disney or to do anything that's like studio related, you need to understand their style guide. the way they draw
Right.
their hands, the way they draw their. It looks like I'm frozen. Am I frozen? I am
No.
frozen.
Oh wait, hang on. Now you
I
are.
can't. Yeah.
There's a
Let
slight
me just
lag
go
on
in
my
here
end.
really quick. Let me just deactivate and reactivate. There we go. Okay.
You're back. Yes, you're
So,
moving.
yeah.
We don't. Oh, there we go. We see Pumpkin there now.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. So yeah, what he was saying was he was upset because he spent all this time working on his skill set as an artist, and it takes a long time, as most artists know out there. Ask any of them, it's like, man, it takes a while. I'm still, still learning. I'm not anywhere near where I need to be. But anyways, his point was, I spent all this time working on an individual style only for it to be gutted
Right.
from his being, because he's now drawing other people's IPs. And what ended up happening was he had to relearn his own style. So sometimes that'll bite you in the butt if you're not careful enough. It might be fun to work at Disney or DreamWorks and all this stuff, but then there's
Mhm.
a breakdown process as to how they do things, and it's not the way you do things.
Right. It sounds like
So
they may have lost their connection to their personal artistic voice there a bit, and then they have to kind
exactly.
of rediscover it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. I've never thought of that. Yeah. Joseph Burke is saying, I know Disney has a strong stylistic guide. It's crazy. There's a template for every single character
Yep.
in the archive.
Yep.
Then
How to
says,
draw them,
I've
how
known.
not to draw them as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He says, I've known Disney artists who are only permitted to draw one character that they're versed in drawing, like Peter Pan, for example. Wow.
Yep.
So, yeah, formulaic, says Helen. Right. It does in some ways sound that way.
Yep. Exactly. And you're right. What Joe was saying was, a lot of people, artists that are put on a production,
Uh-huh.
will be assigned a particular character just so that that one character stays what they call on model. Especially when you're drawing, it's so easy to draw like an eyeball off center or off
Mm,
model, and it changes the
right.
whole physical characteristic of that one character. So
Sure.
sometimes the artists will just get a rundown and briefed on how to draw just those characters, so that they're not, because I mean, if you go from a human being to like drawing, say, like a, I don't know, like a marsupial or of some kind in a
Hmm.
show, then you have to kind of re-gauge and kind of calibrate your artistic sensibility. All of a sudden, you're not drawing a human now; you're drawing a quadrupedal, fuzzy character that has a different skill set altogether to take on while you're drawing it.
Right. Yeah,
So
no, I
it's
mean,
difficult.
yes, Helen Wallace says continuity, right, in terms of remaining sort of the integrity of the character throughout the different storyboards and mock-ups. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's got to be super important, I'd imagine.
absolutely, absolutely.
Ooh, good question from Des. Top commenter badge there too. Love that. What is the
Ooh.
longest time taken piece that you've ever created?
Oh, geez. That's a great question, and I actually know the answer to that one because as I was going to art school online, I kept learning new things to add to my artistic, bag of tricks, if you will. So what ended up happening was there was this one illustration that I drew called Dead
Uh-huh.
Mouse Mickey, which is like Mickey Mouse and Dead Mouse put together. And
That sounds pretty entertaining.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And it took the longest because every week I would learn something new, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to add it to this one piece, and I never would end up finishing it. So I had to just finally go, you know what? We're done here. I got to finish this and move on. But I used this one piece, and it took about 90 hours to finish, using all of these art skills that I was learning.
That's pretty cool. So where did
Yeah.
you study online? I'm really curious. So you had formal training, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, well, when I started taking it seriously, especially being in Los Angeles, where a 5 mile
Yeah.
radius, there is someone that's doing the same thing and better than you, you want to really
Yeah,
make sure that your skill set is primed so that,
right.
you're chosen to
Top
work for
notch.
particular characters or for particular clients, but,
Right.
I went to one school online, well, two, svslearn.com, which is the School of Visual Storytelling, and then one called
Oh, cool.
Schoolism, which was
Ooh,
hosted and created by Bobby Chu. And all of them, or both of those schools, had uh, amazing knowledge to take on as far as illustration is concerned, storytelling, and schoolism was more like, here's how to render really well, here's how to use light and shadow.
uh-huh.
And School of Visual Storytelling, Jake Parker is in. There's an artist who actually, he's the person who created Inktober, which we're all participating in this month, which is a single ink drawing a day, every day,
Right.
for the entire month of October.
So cool. Yeah, I've
And
been following along both on Haps and Instagram. Really cool to see those.
yeah,
Yeah, I had folks commenting that your Inktober pieces have been amazing. Yeah, I love to see
oh,
that. Hey, I
thanks.
just shared the link to svslearn.com for those interested in checking that out. And you know what? I'm going to put your portfolio up there too. csmurphy.com. Let me pop that in there. Go
Thanks,
check
man.
those out, guys. Great.
I'm just gonna
So,
go in here.
designing from the inside out.
I know, that's the
Pretty
fun part.
cool. This is coming together. So you mentioned, your work with some commercial clients. Which clients have you worked with in the past, and what has that process been like compared to, your kind of tinkering here, for example?
Yeah, well, I mean, my tinkering here has led to, job opportunities just by, keeping yourself accountable on live streaming networks, doing it every day, and,
Right.
developing a passion for it.
Love that.
For me personally, developing my passion for this has led me to working for VR video game companies that are out here in Santa Monica. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and I also started working for HBO last month, which was pretty exciting.
Huge
Doing
congratulations. Wow.
Thank you,
That's
I appreciate
incredible.
that. Yeah, and I'm actually doing, and I got permission to talk about it briefly. I'm
Uh-huh.
working with the Game of Thrones convention,
No
being this,
way.
yeah, being the
What?
senior designer for all of their merch. So I'm designing
Oh my
all the
God.
merch that is at the convention that's happening in February in Las Vegas.
Whoa. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and I've also, yeah, it's pretty cool. I also had opportunity to work with
Incredible.
the people from Supernatural and the Star Trek conventions as well. Not
Wow.
necessarily the shows. I'm not doing
Uh-huh.
set designs or anything like that. It's
Right.
nothing crazy. I'm not going to have my name at the end credits of a show or anything. But the cool thing is that they saw my skill set and
Right.
uh, you know invited me to be a part of their team, and I'm able to work at home too. So it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just insane. Yeah, huge
yeah.
congratulations. So cool,
Thank
says,
you.
yeah, wow. So yes, great opportunity, says Chris. Yeah, just remarkable. So you can do all this without leaving your home. So, and
Yep.
this probably started before COVID, right, as well, this home studio setup. But how has COVID changed your workflow, if any?
Well, I don't have to go to studios that much anymore. A lot of studios actually see the benefit of this, working from home thing, because I think there was like a couple of studios that ended up just not necessarily closing down shop, but realizing, why are we spending $30,000 a month on a brick and mortar studio when we can just have everyone at home if they have the tech to pull off the work.
Right.
So
Makes
it's
sense.
actually it's really been really good to me, in that I've always stayed home and worked from my studio anyways, and hermitized myself for years before we started experiencing this all together. So when I first heard, like, we all have to stay home and we all need to figure out our hobbies, I'm like, oh no, not that, please. You mean the thing that I've been doing for years anyways? Okay.
That's hilarious. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
glad I mean, glad that you were able to make that transition, pretty seamlessly then, that you were
Yeah.
ahead of the curve,
Yeah, it was
That's great.
nice. Joe,
So
thanks for
glad.
hanging, man. Much love to you, buddy.
Yeah, totally.
Thanks for
Enjoy
chilling.
that time at the gym. Helen says, I think that will be a massive thing globally. Companies realizing they don't need offices anymore. I
Yeah,
know, right? And it's
very
a
true.
big transition that's happening everywhere, really, right? And particularly in this industry, makes so much sense. If you can do this at home, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool. So you have, wow, ability to change the lighting and all that.
Yeah, well, this is a spotlight. If I wanted to emulate something like, say, like a candle, I can go into the settings of the light and change it from a spot to a point, and that'll kind of create a fixed point with the light. And then I can go in there and say, I don't know, let's go a
Uh-huh.
little yellow or maybe a little bit of orange just to kind of get some effect there and actually take this light and just pop it right in there.
Yes,
There we go. And it's
that
not
is
perfect because it's
awesome.
obviously casting light on the left and right sides of the pumpkin where there's an actual wall there. So it's not perfect, but if you want to get like a rapid kind of ideation going, if a client's like, hey, we need 3-dimensional pumpkins, we need them somewhat lit, correctly,
Right.
you can do something like this and
This is amazing.
have some fun
Wow.
with it. Yeah, fun times.
And so, if you were to try to animate these in sort of a live action way, is that possible with this software as well? Let's say you wanted to have another pumpkin come bouncing along and join the gang there. I mean, is that
Mhm.
something you can do with this current software?
This software, as far as creating the
Uh-huh.
characters, yes. After you create a character like this, you would have
Right.
to then go into the export function and actually go, okay, well, what are we doing here? Is this going to be a raw, like
Mhm.
OBJ or FBX file, which are 3D models that you can, or for 3D modeling file formats that you can export, say, like the pumpkin we just did, and bring it into a more traditional software like Maya or Blender or 3D Studio Max. These are 3D softwares that big studios use. So the cool thing about this
Wow.
software is that you can go, okay, well, we want to work with this guy. Say I brought this to a client and the director was like, oh, these are all great. We'll use these for the background. This character looks great. Let's get
Mhm.
him to be what they say production ready. I would then
Uh-huh.
have to take this, export this out as a different file format, bring it into another program, clean up the topology because this isn't 3D geometry yet. It's a little too far fetched to explain what this is. It's called vertex data. It's not
Uh-huh.
necessarily topology that you would see in a traditional 3D software. And then you would have to actually flip it to make sure that it is 3D geometry. And then you have to go through things like texturing, do things called UV mapping. You have to flatten the character out and make sure
Uh-huh.
that all the textures and everything is all right. And if he has legs and stuff like that, then you have to like rig the legs and make sure that the IK, which is inverse kinematics, works. So like when the character moves, like say like the foot, the knee moves along with it,
Uh-huh.
like all these things.
Articulates properly, right.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So in actuality, most of the time when you're creating a character like this, the character creation process takes a lot quicker than the production pipeline that it goes through so that it's either game ready or production ready because you can't have millions and millions and millions of polygons on a character and animate it in a 3D program because it has to animate in what they call real time. So the character, the animator needs to know, well, what's this interpolation doing? It's kind of hard to explain. Basically, if you have a very dense mesh in a
Uh-huh.
3D program, it's not going to move and articulate as well as it would if you took the time to take the density of the topology down and get it ready for that asset, whether it be games or movies. But yeah,
Well,
it is possible, just not with
that's
this
really
whole
neat.
package.
Yes, what he said says Chris. I know, yes, he lost me at density of topology.
Yeah,
I
sorry,
think
top. All the squares like on a model itself, where you look at a
right.
character and sometimes they show you all the squares that make up that character. That's called the geometry of a character. It's also called the surface topology, which is the topology of the actual. Like, what is this piece doing? How dense is this? Do we need to break this down? Just questions, production questions like that. but it has to go through the whole production pipeline and get really, really small in order to work in, like I said, in real time. Otherwise,
Right.
you can't animate
Yeah.
without it.
Well, super cool.
Yeah.
Helen says, "Ignore these Luddites." Yes, you explained it perfectly. Yes, indeed, indeed. I apologize
That's
for
right.
clouding the waters here with my Luddite-ness.
that
But no,
that
this is amazing. I'm really enjoying this. And
cool.
where can folks find this finished product here? Do you have a plan for this particular scene here? Um, is this something you have? A pipeline for production?
Yeah. Well, this right here was just to have a little fun. I knew we were going to be doing this, and I figured, it'd be fun to kind of just hang out with you guys, answer some questions, say hello to everybody, and just show the VR aspect of things. Because right now I'm doing a lot of hand drawing stuff, and I actually miss jumping into VR. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. There's a lot of traditional artists out here that, while they respect it, they don't have a need for it because they don't have a system at home. But I just felt the need to come out here and just create a character and make a bunch of pumpkins and render it out and probably post it on my wall here on Haps. For sure.
Love it. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Thanks.
We have a few minutes left, folks. If you have
Okay.
final questions for CS, please let us know here. And CS, do you have any questions we wish that, or you wish we'd asked you, for example? Things you want to talk about,
I
plugs,
don't know. No,
the
not
stage
really.
is
I
yours.
mean, I really love not just brown nosing or anything, but I love being on here. I love meeting the people that are musicians and creators and artists, and getting to know
Yeah,
newer people that are on here. You guys are a treat to work with and to troubleshoot with, and it's been a really good time here. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me. It's always fun to create in front of you guys live, and I just feel it holds you accountable. And being on here
right.
is a great way to kind of exercise your creativity and to evolve as an artist or a musician or whatever you want to do on here. But it's a great way to kind of just hold yourself accountable, make some new friends, feed off each other. I feel I'm getting better. I mean, there are some things that Joe, Des, and Lindsay are doing with the traditional drawing where I'm just like, oh man, that's really cool. Like Des is amazing with like photorealistic like rendering and stuff like that. She spends hours on just like one section, and you can
Right.
tell because it's just beautiful. Joe's got an amazing vector landscape prowess, being able to just draw something and like silhouette it within like a deer head or something. Those are really, really cool pieces. I really love that.
Right.
And Lindsay, I mean, the thing she did recently with I think the what's it called? Oh, I'm blanking right now. She just did something. The Wizard of Oz. She drew like all the Dorothy inside of the crystal ball and everything, and there's like a witch on the outside with one
I'll
of
have
the
to
the
check that
flying.
out.
Oh, it's so good. So like all these people are truly inspiring. So it's really cool just to kind of truncate my monologue here a little bit. It's just great because you never know who you run into or who you're going to make friends with and how they're going to help you or you're going to help them realize something about themselves that they might have not known had you not been in their creative space. So
Right.
yeah,
Love that. Yeah. Amazing Haps community here. Really strong sub community of artists. Love to see everyone coming in to the chat as well, saying hello. We know it's
for
the work
sure.
week. We're really glad to have you popping in, helping the conversation flow here with your questions and all of that. But yeah, this has been
Yeah,
amazing, CS. Thanks again for your time. I think we're going to have to call it here
yeah,
for
no
now,
worries.
but really, really
Always a
appreciate you
pleasure.
coming on and sharing your gifts here and, kind of, yeah, shedding some light on the mystery of how you make your magic here. And again, congrats on the new gig with HBO. Super cool to hear a few
Oh,
details
thanks,
on
man.
that. Yeah, all the best. And I'm sure we'll see you soon here back on Haps.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. I'll be doing Inktober, so come join me. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m.
Heck yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You heard it. We'll see you in the comments. Yes.
Alrighty.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care.
Bye.